Welcome back to EchoVideo Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today joining me is my two co-hosts, Bart and Shawn. How's it going, guys?
Quite well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's good to hear. So today we're talking about monkey movies, or movies that just have a monkey of some kind as a main feature of the film. So that's not an extra, that's not a background character. They're a very prominent feature in the film. I don't know why, but we're talking about it. So let's just get started. I'm going to talk about my first movie that I brought today. I'm going to talk about Project X from 1987. There are actually two versions of Project X. One of them is vastly superior, one of them's not, and the other one is the vastly superior one is the 1987 one starring Matthew Broderick. Actually, just a story that how I found this film was back in, when was Project X released? The party one, I can't remember.
2012, 2013, something like that.
Something like that. So when I was in school, that was like the movie to talk about. Everybody had seen it because it was like, I mean, I was in, I don't know, grade 9, grade 8 when that movie came out. So everyone, for some reason, had seen it, even though it was a very R-rated film. Everyone had seen the movie and was talking about it and talking about how it was the best movie. And this was kind of when I first had Netflix, and I see that Project X is on Netflix. And I thought, oh man, I gotta watch this movie because everyone's talking about it. So I watched this movie, and about halfway through the film, I realized I don't think this is the right film. So what the movie's about is it's about Matthew Broderick as a fighter pilot. I believe he gets demoted and he has to go to a testing facility for chimpanzees. And when he's there, they're running a project to see how chimpanzees can react in a flight simulator to kind of fly planes. I'm not even kidding. And then when he's there, he starts bonding with the monkeys and actually becomes like best friends with the monkeys. And then it turns out that they're actually using the test after they're done the flight simulator. The real test is that they're exposing monkeys to radiation to see how pilots would do with radiation. I believe it's something to do with atomic bombs. Like, can we put a very nuclear weapon in a plane with a pilot, and how much radiation can they be exposed to before they die, before the bomb drops? So they're just exposing chimps to radiation and they're dying. And the one part about this movie I remember vividly was, I saw this as a kid, pretty young, and you know, you're laughing, this is the goofy monkey movie, you're laughing, you're loving the monkeys, and then there's a scene at the end where a fire extinguisher gets stuck when they're exposing a monkey to radiation, and they're like yelling at the two, Matthew Broderick and then the female character, to just get out of the room because it's like, you're going to die of radiation sickness. But Matthew Broderick somehow convinces a monkey that's in the chamber to go pull the fire extinguisher out, and he's like, the monkey loves to smoke cigarettes, like that's his reward. So they're like, go do it. And then the monkey does it, and he goes to the glass, and you just see friggin' the monkeys start to slowly die of radiation sickness trying to grab the cigarette through the glass, but he can't. And it's just the most heartbreaking thing you'd ever seen. And I was like, I thought this was the goofy monkey movie. Why is this so heartbreaking to watch? It's a good movie. It's especially if you're tricked into watching it. I found I liked it a lot better, because I went to school the next day thinking I had seen the Project X, and I was like, man, that part when the monkey died was so sad, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's like the one reason I've remembered this movie for so long. So I don't know, have any of you guys? Go ahead.
Not the movie itself, but just the experience. It kind of reminds me of when you and I were in grade 9 and you were talking about Saw. Right, and I kind of had like this phobia of horror movies and gore, so I finally put on Saw because you talked about it so much. It turned out I had to watch Scary Movie 2, and where they have to shoot like this swish in order to get released.
It was
and then the next day I was talking 4. To you about it. Yes, Scary Movie 4.
Scary Movie 4, and Shaq and Dr. Phil are trapped in the compound, and Shaq has to score a free throw to escape or something. And then, sorry, you continue, but that's what happened. And
that's the one I watched. And the next day I went over to Hunter and I started talking about the alleged Saw movie that I had seen, because I just looked at some clips because I didn't want to watch the whole thing because it's like I was spooked. And Hunter's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It just
You
reminded me of that.
you were like so adamant on it happening though. You were
Yeah,
like,
like I was
"No,
proud of
remember?"
myself that I'd seen it, and I was so
And I was
convinced
like-
that is what it was.
I was like, dude, I think you saw a scary movie. You were like, no, it was Saw, I'm sure of it. And you were, didn't you have to shoot a basket? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
That's actually the
That's
director's
like-
cut of Saw, where Shaq comes in.
The director's cut of Saw has Jigsaw replaced by Shaquille O'Neal. Dr. Phil is Pighead, so
The producers didn't want that, for bad rep, but director
for
was
sure.
adamant.
anyways, back to have any of you guys seen Project X at all, or have at least heard of it?
I've heard of it through you, but other than that, I haven't seen it myself. How about you, Sean?
I really only know, again, yeah, same kind of from Hunter just mentioning that you were talking about it today, but no, I haven't heard it beyond that.
It
I
sounds
know, I
incredibly
don't-
sad that the monkey just dies of radiation poisoning.
Oh man, it's brutal.
Yeah.
But I think at the end, one of the I don't know if this is again, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but from what I remember, the monkeys all get on a plane and fly to the jungle, like just the monkeys themselves, because they're in the flight simulator and they know how to fly the plane. And I think they load the whole carrier up with all the test chimpanzees and they just fly the plane to the jungle. I honestly think that's how it ends. I could be wrong, but I mean, that is the best thing ever. There could be no other more satisfying of an ending than monkeys flying planes.
That is infinitely better than Planet of the Apes, where they cross the Golden Gate Bridge. I wish they flew.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, that kind
Stunning.
of wraps up what I had to say on Project X. I mean, I was going to talk about this on episode 2 when we did Hidden Gems, but we kind of were running a bit late, so I didn't end up mentioning it. But it like I said, I mean, I think everyone after the party when Todd Phillips's Project X got released, I think it just kind of got cast into obscurity. So I do recommend this movie. It's a pretty solid watch.
A real shame.
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's all.
seen
That's
the
all I really
popular
have to say.
Project X. Yours sound infinitely better. I must
Oh,
say,
man.
there's a severe
Yeah.
lack of monkeys
I
in the new
mean,
one.
there's a lack of monkeys flying a plane to the jungle in the end, so
Yeah,
you
lack of
already
radiation.
lost. Can't even speak. Lack of radiation, monkey dying of radiation sickness. So yeah. All right. What are some of the movies you guys brought, Bart? What are some of the movies you guys brought, Bart? What about you?
So I had the unfortunate of seeing Monkey Up. I hate everything about this movie. So I came across this just looking like on Amazon Prime, see what I could find. I was scouring across all the streaming services and I just looked up Monkey. And then Monkey Up was the first thing that came up. And this is like my other movie, an Airbud Entertainment production. So, as you can probably put together, they specialize in only having animals as the star. You got your Airbuds, you got your monkey movies, you got your cats, you got anything.
The real question, does the monkey talk? Because that's a game changer.
Yes, and I had to pause the movie numerous times because I couldn't stand it.
It's perfect.
When Airbud introduced talking animals, that's when the franchise lost me. Like, I mean, even the original Airbud, the dog never talked, so it was kind of like this sense of realism. Like, man, this dog could be playing fucking basketball for real.
He's
And
just
then-
really good at it, yeah.
And then I think the 2000s, Air Buddies, I want to say, is the first one that introduced talking animals. The company went downhill, just right
Steadily.
after that.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry. What is Monkey Up? Tell me about Monkey Up. I have not had the pleasure.
Let me tell you about Monkey Up. So this is also directed by Robert Vince, who directs most of the Airbud Entertainment movies. So he's got a real knack for this stuff. So basically, the movie starts off. It's a commercial. The first, minute of the movie or so. It's a little monkey, a real monkey, not CGI, played by Skylar Austin. You may know him from nothing else because he's awful. And he's the voice of Morty. So it does like that weird thing where they have a real animal, but like the CGI lips.
Oh,
and it's like this weird, uncanny valley thing. Because like the monkey's body movements won't match up with what he's saying. So it's just like really disorienting and strange. But anyway, yeah, so he's like basically at the core, he's a commercial monkey star and he wants to make his way up into film. And this movie's being made, but this guy's using a CGI monkey because he thinks that Morty the monkey doesn't have like those family values that the movies try to convey. So he's using a CGI monkey because he can just control it. And then Morty the monkey is trying to convince him throughout the film to cast him instead because he is a great guy and he does appreciate those family values. So he's just basically trying to get a role as the real monkey and replace the CGI monkey. And that's all you have to know about the plot. There's like 9 different subplots too. They're all terrible. But there's like 2 things that really sum up this movie. One is a quote by Skylar Austin. He says, "I like to do things that are shocking and challenging for the sake of comedy." So if you align that quote with the rest of the movie, comedy is literally nowhere to be found. I don't know what his perception of comedy is, but it just makes you wonder what is going on in his mind that he thinks these shocking and challenging things, are comedy. And another thing with all the subplots, so I was telling Hunter earlier that the movie, in the first 5 minutes or so, there's like 9 or 10 different characters introduced, so it's incredibly hard to keep up with what is happening. And like they'll quickly introduce something.
2 hours of storytelling in the first 5 minutes of the movie. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. And it's just only exposition, basically. They'll introduce someone and it seems like halfway through the dialogue, the conversation, whatever, they just cut out of it. And then they come back to it like half an hour later, the same conversation. So like days will have passed in the film, but that same conversation will still be going. It's just really odd.
Jeez.
So I'm just kind of nitpicking at the film at this point, but because like the plot is just absolutely irrelevant, and I'm just kind of picking at things.
The part that kind of makes me laugh is that the plot of the movie is to not use a CG monkey, or like the real monkey will act better in order to avoid being CG. There was probably a point in this director's head that thought, maybe if this is the movie, the monkey will act better. Maybe the monkey will know and act better in the real film. Like, he probably thought, like, there was probably a moment in his head that thought, this will make the monkey act better in our film if we pretend that we're going to replace him in the plot. If that makes sense.
Pressure him as the producer.
Man, the monkey will act better if we pretend we'll replace him with CGI.
He'll be spooked. He doesn't want to go back to the jungle or whatever, to his family. He doesn't want
Unbelievable.
So the second thing that kind of like sums up this entire movie, it's like one of the many subplots. So there's this daughter, and she's like in this, I don't know, gym class, whatnot. She has this competition, and the only way that the producers, directors, whatever, can make her stand out, because there's like 9 different little girls introduced. All the girls in the gym class are wearing blue. She's the only one that's wearing pink. So they're not relying on her character traits or her face, to make her different, because we know her. It's literally just by color of her shirt.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so, that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. And then she she gets up to perform and fails.
Oh.
Darn.
No, man, that movie sounds awesome. I might have to watch that. You know what? Yeah, I know what you mean though, because I remember I watched like 10 minutes of Spooky Buddies, and holy God, did that movie look fucking awful with the when it did the close up of the dogs' faces. Like, you can it's literally just like they took it into After Effects, because it's such a still shot of the dogs. They just kind of like, oh, it's just disgusting. Like, they just highlighted the fucking eyebrows to give them slight emotion, and then put this awful mouth that opens. Like, it's so bad, but
it's like they just put like a liquefy tool on their eyebrows or something. Like, It looks awful.
Oh yeah, it's
Literally,
just
it's
disgusting.
It's absolutely atrocious, and it's so disorienting. And one thing before you guys can freely talk about it, whatever you want. There's this weird, very racist line. So Morty the monkey is being interviewed about his commercial, like what it was like being in it. You know, like, is he any different from being like the character in the commercial to like how he is in real life? And he's like, oh no, I'm a method actor. You know, I'm really straightforward with my people. I like to tell them what's going on. And he gives the example of like, oh yeah, that one time this girl came into my little, I don't know, cabin, cubicle, whatever, where he changes and whatnot. And, you know, she knows I like jelly beans, and she gives me only black jelly beans. And he's like, nobody likes the black ones, which is fine.
Oh my
until the
God.
editing, it looks at a close-up of the interviewer and then the producer, and their faces are like in shock. So like, I think they were trying to make it pass until the editing made it look like it's such a blatant racist statement.
It might have been able to, like, it might be able to pass, and then just fucking
because black jelly beans are
cut,
trash, right? But the fact that they did those two close-ups right afterwards, and their faces are like in shock, it's like, oh my God, did they just go there? And it appears they did.
Yep.
Which is
I love political satire in my children's movie about a monkey trying to act.
It is
That's
rated
the
7+. I hope you know that.
That's an appropriate film to do political satire in, if you ask me.
I think that's the only film. Yeah, like what better? Have you guys had the pleasure of watching Monkey Up? I'm not doing it justice just by kind of rambling about it. You have to watch it. It is really an experience.
I have never seen Monkey Up.
I
think I remember seeing it because I watched another monkey film on Amazon, and I think it was in the recommended, but I have not done the honor of watching the film. So one of these days I'll have to check it out.
Sorry. Before we keep going, wait, Sean, do you have anything to say?
No, I don't have too much on it. I haven't seen it, but I mean, going based off of like all the Air Buds movies and all that kind of stuff, like I kind of feel like I can assume what it's like a little bit without seeing it, but also I imagine it's got its own little qualities as well.
Qualities is a strong word, but yes.
Well, yes, attributes.
Yeah, there's one last thing I wanted to touch on. So Monty, like the monkey, I think I've called him Morty. Monty, it's one of those, doesn't matter. So the reason that he can talk is because he grew up in like this zoo somewhere in California, and his mom, like, he lived with his whole family, and his mom like had the key to the zoo, so she would take him out sometimes, and they would watch Shakespeare in the park.
Oh my!
So
God.
he would learn to talk through watching Shakespeare in the park, right?
Oh my God!
Which is like this big thing, like why he's so marketable. But then, like, when he actually talks, he has like this thick American accent, and it's like modern English.
Oh.
And he uses like a whole bunch of slang.
They can understand the monkey.
Yes, the monkey like
Oh my
speaks to
God!
them
What?
I thought he was
English.
like in Air Buddies. They talk to themselves because they can speak dog. I didn't know the monkey could speak to human.
Oh yeah, so I should have started off with that. Yes, they absolutely speak full English.
I've never seen a movie go from a perfect 0 to a perfect 10 like that before.
Just like that.
And it's so beautiful. And then like the reason he's so valuable is because he can talk. But then as we like go through the entire movie, his entire family can talk. Dogs can talk, like speak to other people. So like it makes literally no sense that he's this.
A lot of those animals saw that Shakespeare play then.
I guess so. And they all just learned perfect modern English from Shakespearean Old English. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like they had something going, kind of creative, and then they throw it right out the window.
And it's just
because everybody else can talk. I don't know. It's just like that's the kind of skill of writing we are dealing with here.
That's brutal. All right, let's move on. John,
yes.
What's the movie you brought today?
All right. Well, I have Dunkston Checks In. What a great What a fantastic
Classic.
You know what? The quickest way I can summarize this movie initially is by saying it's essentially Home Alone 2, but also Monkey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, that's pretty much all it is.
You've just sold the movie to me right there.
Yeah, that's going to be a 4K purchase for me.
Yeah, no Trump, though. He's not in it. But my God, this movie... Can I just say...
Forgot Donald. I was like, what are you getting at? And then Donald Trump's in Home Alone 2.
I thought we were getting really political there for a second.
That one took me a second. That one took me a minute. All right, sorry. Back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So this movie initially starts off like, maybe it could be okay. I don't know. Maybe it's all right. Because it comes up with an intro. It's kind of close-up shots of people managing like a hotel. And then all of a sudden, it starts off with like a really wacky scene right after that's like, this was not needed whatsoever, but okay. They essentially have guests come into this hotel, and these two kids at this hotel end up like trying to prank the workers there, but end up screwing up the whole hotel and getting a bunch of like a bunch of the guests like wet with this fountain or something, and like spraying them with water. It's really stupid, and immediately I thought I might have had like the wrong movie, because I was like like I know this movie was not going to be probably amazing, but like where's the monkey? Why are these kids doing this? I thought I got like Home Alone 6 or something like that TV movie or something like that. Like, I was like, what? Either way, I was like, okay. I kept watching, and then Jason Alexander came on the screen, and I was like, okay. I read that he was in it, so I got the right movie. Essentially, the first like, I don't know, probably not 30 minutes, but probably like 20 minutes or so. It's just like a story of Jason Alexander, which is the hotel manager at this prestigious hotel. I think it's called the Majestic Hotel. And it's a 5-star hotel, and it's just telling a story about how he has these two kids. He's a single dad, and he lives in this hotel. He owns this hotel, and he's trying to manage it for this big event that's coming up. And all these guests are coming to this hotel, and this one guest comes to try to steal a bunch of stuff from all the other guests because they're all rich people. And the way he does that is by bringing a monkey to help him out to do this.
Sure. Seems logical.
I mean, I don't see any problems with that plan.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect 10 right there.
And so literally like the remainder of the movie is pretty much just he tries to get this monkey around, and the monkey is like the monkey was like some sort of I think it was like a circus monkey. They didn't really explain it well. Either way, he doesn't like this other guy because he like kind of stole him. And so it's just this one kid trying to convince his dad, Jason Alexander, that this monkey actually exists and that this is happening. And that something bad's going to happen because this guy's trying to steal stuff. That's the entire movie, essentially. You have now watched the movie. Congratulations.
It sounds like art.
Yeah,
all I
remember. Sorry,
all
go
I
ahead.
remember about this. Yeah, sorry. All I remember is that this film had George Costanza and Pee Wee Herman and an orangutan, all in the same movie, all in the same package, one ticket price only. Like that's all you need in life.
I forgot about Mr. Pee Wee.
And
Herman.
there was not a Best Picture nod? Damn.
Believe it or not, he was not masturbating this time, so it was a good movie.
Yeah, no, I thank God. Yeah, like it's weird too. Whenever I see a movie that has him in the movie and he's not Pee Wee, it's really jarring.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like, I mean, that's unfortunate because he is like actually a decent actor, and in this he does a fine job. But he's like this like southern like monkey exterminator, I guess. I don't know. It's really weird. He has like a booklet.
Sure. Yeah.
He has like a booklet of like all these apes that are like wanted for something. And he's like, which one does he look like? And then they're like, oh, he looks like this one. And he's like, oh, yes, Pablo.
Oh my god.
Ah, yes, I remember Pablo. He's got like a blacklist for monkeys. What?
So, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he has. It's so over the top. So the whole time, like the first, like, maybe like 2/3 of the movie, he's not even really in it. And then, like, the last, like, third, they add him as, like, another point of conflict. So, like, the first bit is just trying to, like, get this monkey under control and learn about this monkey and convince the dad that he's in the hotel. And then the, like, last third of the movie, the dad finally sees the monkey, but he's trying to get rid of it because he thinks the monkey's doing all the damage to his hotel. And so, introducing him, now we have, like, the kid trying to convince his dad that he's all fine, the monkey's not doing anything, and that this other guy is bad, and we got this exterminator trying to kill the monkey. It's just like complete chaos.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
Probably the only like actual amazing thing about this is they actually directed the monkey in this actually fairly decently. That's probably like the one good thing about it. Like, it's actually pretty good. Like, the monkey does a lot of the like, you know, actions and everything really like well. It kind of just looks like a person's doing it. Maybe they are, I don't know. But yeah, like, other than that though, the rest of the movie's just it's fine. It's nothing amazing. I wouldn't say it's god awful, but it's getting close.
It's close to it. Yeah. Shawn, before I talk about the wonderful scene that I got to witness, this is a kids movie, correct? Like,
sure.
I imagine so.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, there is a point where the monkey like gets like shot, I think, or not shot, but like
my goodness,
he ends up like cutting himself on glass, and he's like bleeding all over the staircase.
Oh my god!
Right.
So I don't know.
So we'll put a 13 on this, like a 13 plus.
13 PG-13. They were allowed one F-bomb.
Dunstan just drops the F-bomb. But the scene that I wanted to talk about, so I couldn't find the movie myself. So I was looking around for it, didn't have success. But there's this scene on YouTube, which I'm sure you can give me context to. But there's this blonde woman, kind of like with a perm. She's getting like a massage. She's lying on her stomach. She's just got like a towel covering her butt, you know, and it's fine. And then the masseuse, this guy, I think his name is like Patrick or Peter, whatever. Oh, we'll call him Peter. He's like, all right, we'll call the girl Charlene. We'll call the guy Peter. He's like, all right, Charlene, I'm going to get some massage oil. You wait right here. I'll be right back. So he leaves through this door, and like at the exact same time, Dunstan comes in through a different door. And like this chimpanzee jumps on her back, and because she's like face down on her stomach, she doesn't realize that, you know, that's not Peter, that it's an actual ape for whatever reason, standing on her back.
You can't tell by the leathery ass hands of a fucking orangutan on your back, like.
But, and then Dunstan has somehow got his hands on the massage oil, and he squirts it on her back, and he starts like rubbing it in. And the girl's like, Charlene's like, oh, Peter, oh, that feels great. And he's like massaging her back. God. And he keeps going lower, and he keeps going to like down to her waist kind of, and he turns around on her and starts literally slapping her ass. Like, and he's like, Charlene's like, oh, Peter, that feels great. Oh, it hurts, but it feels so good. Keep going. And then it's like, what is happening? So then Dunstan, like, as if like clockwork, he leaves. And then Peter comes back in with the massage oil, and Charlene's like weirdly turned on because he just got her ass slapped like 7 times. And she just grabs Peter by the collar and starts making out with him, and then the scene just cuts. And you're like, what? What?
That's awful.
Who wrote this? That's why I wanted to clarify that it doesn't need a kids movie. Because like that's not even like subtle innuendos. That's just blatantly sexual.
There is this kind of like confused ground where there are like some scenes like that, like I said, also like the ape like cuts himself, and then there's like tons of like blood and stuff over like these stairs that he goes up, and it's like I feel like they wouldn't show it in this much like detail if it was like fully a kids movie, I mean, I guess that's fine, but I don't know. It's kind of weird.
If I saw the main character monkey bleeding, I'd be sad.
Yeah, exactly. And like for context for that scene too, by the way, there isn't really any.
Oh, it just
yeah, like in the movie, like that's at a part where the kid's like looking for the monkey and he doesn't know where he went, and he just went to like the spa area, and then that scene happens.
Oh my god!
I mean, what a glorious scene it was! I gotta say, Oscar worthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That monkey got to second base with a woman, and then
I know. And then Peter finished it off. Without even knowing what happened.
That monkey got that dude laid, and then he probably didn't even thank the monkey. Like, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Good for him. You know, he's a real bro.
All right, let's move on. So the next movie, I'm pretty sure none of you have seen it, but that's the mighty Peking Man from 1977, and it is a Chinese film by Shawscope Studio, and this is, believe it or not, this was brought. I believe this was produced in America by Quentin Tarantino, or at least it was brought to the U.S. by Quentin Tarantino.
What?
And yeah, really? I'm not even kidding. But like, I am not even kidding. So it's basically what this is. It's the Chinese version of King Kong. It's not bad. It doesn't do anything super memorable. I mean, the effects are pretty good. You got this big giant ape. I have to say, the ape screams the whole movie, and it sounds awful. It is the most. It's not like a monkey sound. It's not what a monkey would sound like. It sounds more of like nails on a chalkboard the whole time. Like, it is an awful sound, and you hear it every 40 seconds in the film, and it's terrible. But it's really goofy the whole time. Like, they go to find like the best hunter in China to come hunt this monkey with them, and he's like drunk at the bar, and usually you would think, oh, you know, it'll take a bit of convincing because he's out of the game. But no, they're just like, hey, we need your help. He's like, all right, I'll do it. Like, immediately. I was like, oh, that's okay. That's different.
It's that easy.
I mean, yeah. I was like, oh, I thought he was going to put up a little bit of a fight, but no, he just flat out agreed. And then later, like, you learn, maybe later in the film, you learn that his wife was cheating on him. And it was like a joke. Like, she's cheating on him with his brother, I believe. And she's just like, oh my God, it started off as a joke. I'm sorry. It's what what's the joke, man? It's just a prank. It's just a prank, bro. Like, what part of this was
I was wearing a condom. It's just a prank.
Oh my God, dude. It was brutal. And then there's, so the one scene that kind of shocked me was there's like, they're in the jungle, they're looking for the Peking Man, and this tiger comes out to attacks them on their travels. And it's a real tiger. And a dude legitimately starts wrestling a real tiger. I'm not even kidding. It's not a fake dummy. It is a real tiger that this dude is like grappling with. And I mean, in all fairness, A, it could be detoothed and declawed. B, it could be just super trained. Or C, it could just be like this random ass tiger they thought, let's just wrestle it. I somehow doubt it was that.
I just saw it. Somewhere in the forest was like that one.
I was, and I mean, it's from the 70s, so you got all these great practical effects and some cheesy like kind of compositioning of green screens and stuff. So it looks fine. Honestly, effects wise, the film was great. The English dub that I watched was pretty good as well. It wasn't horrible. Other than that, I mean, the score was kind of cool at times as well. The other kind of notes that I had, the last kind of thing I want to say about it is the whole movie. There's like this native woman, or this woman that's been living in the jungle since childhood, and the monkey is like her friend. The Peking Man is her friend, so she like is tamed him. And the whole movie, she's wearing like an animal hide, and I think it's like her left titty is almost popping out throughout the entirety of the film.
You're just waiting for that one mishap.
Like, she's running at like full speed. You're like, how is it, like, come on, like the whole time. It's just perpetual stress. Like, my goodness. That
reminds me of when you play the new Tomb Raider games and she's wearing like this little tank top, and it just like, even if it's shredded apart, her boobs will stay perfectly in place. And you're like, damn it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not an awful film, but it's definitely a weird one. The only reason I really know of it is because Quentin Tarantino produced it. Yeah, it's not awful. By all means, check it out. It's super fun. If you like kind of cheesy, if you like King Kong, you'll probably like Mighty Peking Man. I'm almost certain you guys haven't seen it, but if you have, feel free to chime in now.
No, I haven't seen it, but I'm still quite baffled that Quentin Tarantino produced it. I mean, I guess 1977, you know, just getting started makes sense. But like,
no, like he didn't produce it. He didn't produce it in the 70s. He produced the American re-release, so that was maybe in the 90s.
Okay.
And the dub. Yeah, I believe that's how it worked. I could be wrong on that, but he didn't produce it in 1977, but he brought it overseas, I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
And or he just had something
for it.
something to do in it. I know it's Shawscope, and Kill Bill was heavily inspired by Chinese cinema. So it's probably something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. That's the amount of I've researched about the movie. I haven't really researched that much.
Huh. That's definitely interesting, though. What about you, Sean? Have you seen it yourself?
No, I haven't. I have not heard of it. But
yeah, I haven't even heard of it actually until you literally just mentioned it. So yeah,
there you go. The Mighty Peking Man. Anyway, let's move on. Bart, what's your film? What's your last film you brought today?
All right. Well, Hunter, I know you are eager to join me for this one. It is MVP, Most Valuable Primate.
Classic.
Not to be mistaken with its sequel, Most Vertical Primate. This is the 2000 release of another Robert Vince film. Same.
Classic.
Airbud Entertainment.
Airbud Entertainment. Classic.
Mwah. Can't go wrong. This time, though, the monkey does not speak. It is exclusively sign language.
Yep.
And
that's how you know it's good. Right off the bat.
Yes.
Monkey doesn't talk. And I gotta say, my one note about this, sorry, before you go any further, the fucking monkey doesn't even pick up a hockey stick till like 40 minutes into this fucking movie. Like, I'm here waiting. There's a lack of hockey and skating in this whole movie. There's like one scene in the beginning where they're skating around the complex, and then like halfway, then there's just a lull in the whole movie until he starts playing hockey 40 minutes later. You're like, I wanted to see the damn monkey play hockey the whole time, not fucking wait.
Even when there is like alleged hockey on screen, so I myself, I'm not a hockey guy, but when there is hockey, it's literally just like the team is so disorganized and like disinterested in actually playing hockey. Like, they've basically given up on it, like the high school team. So they just go out of their way to like headhunt people, you know, knock them out. They don't even have the puck. They just like swipe their leg, chuck them into the sideboards, whatever. It's basically just wrestling on ice.
That's not them. That's the other team though. That's not the monkey. The team the monkey plays for. I'm pretty sure the team the monkey plays for just sucks, and then the monkey comes along and changes that.
Yeah, but even when like the lead character, the guy from Colombia, whose name honestly I've forgotten, when he does well, they beat him up for doing well.
Oh yeah,
like,
pretty much.
What's the team name?
The Nuggets.
Nuggets, yes.
The Nuggets. Great hockey name. Great hockey team.
Excellent choice on that. But yeah, basically the whole story is this monkey who is at this university, this professor whose name I have forgotten, is like teaching him sign language. He uses him to like present this to like his classes, like a little back and forth conversation. Then the monkey finds out, with the help of the maintenance guy, who is just absolutely infuriating, that
it's discount. The maintenance guy is a discount Jim Carrey. Like, it's like the saddest attempt at a Jim Carrey impression the whole film. And it's like, it's so obnoxious, but it's so funny at the same time. Like, you can't not watch it.
It's just, this guy is really trying. But yeah, anyway, like the head researchers decide to discuss like this top secret plan in a stairwell to say that they want to test like hepatitis vaccines on Jack the monkey.
They're
And
taking
that-
the monkey to an AIDS center. Like,
Yeah.
how much more perfect can you get? And oh my god, dude, that caught me off guard. I was like,
And they
Oh
just
my
discuss
God.
it in the middle of a stairwell. Like, it's just so odd. And then this encourages Jack to like run away, and he gets on this train and he wants to go back to like this resort where he came from, where his parents are, but he misses like 5 stops and ends up in British
Vancouver.
Columbia.
yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah. And that's where he meets up with one of the hockey kids, like the main character, and his sister. And the sister takes him in. The sister is also deaf, so that kind of like establishes a connection between the monkey and the sister, because they can use like sign language.
Yep.
And like her favorite fruit seems to be banana. I don't like.
There are so many banana. Like, the part I remember weirdly is that the monkey gets off the train in Vancouver, and it's like dead winter. Like, it's completely like near Christmas. Like, it's 100%. And the monkey's walking downtown Vancouver. I don't know if it's the city or just some small town. And there's just a convenience store that is loaded with bananas.
Yeah.
Like, there is an uncomfortable amount of bananas in this
And
one
there's-
store.
There's banana
Like-
magnets on the fridge of the little girl's house. Like, why?
I believe there's like a banana pillow. Like, the pillowcase is a banana or is bananas or something. There's so much bananas in this movie. Like, and the one part that I found kind of weird was the little sister was at the ice rink watching her brother practice, and she's just eating a banana, and then she takes a bite of the banana and then puts it down, and then puts one skate on, and then the monkey steals it. I'm just like, just eat the whole banana before you put the skin, before you put your skates on. Like, come on. What the hell are you doing? No,
It is so odd. And there's this scene earlier on when the girl like at the resort where Jack's parents are, like the monkeys.
Yeah,
She's talking to the maintenance guy because they want to get him, to not get hepatitis tested on him. They want to get him back to the resort.
yeah.
And then the girl at the resort is like, yeah, they miss him a ton. It's been quiet. And all you can hear is monkeys screaming in the background. And it is the opposite of quiet. She's like barely able to like convey over the phone that it's silent and it's just screaming. I don't know if that was like intentional, but like
You know what I will
it
say
really
though?
caught me off guard.
You know what I will say in the praise of this film is that a lot of films I feel kind of are, a lot of animal-based films are like, oh, this is the main character, this is the weird human characters you don't care about featuring a basketball playing dog, or this is these characters and the animal you're watching the movie for. This movie was the monkey and these stupid kids you do not care about.
Yeah.
I like
it's
that the
awful.
monkey was the main character. That was the best part. That was like that's why I wanted to watch the movie, was a monkey playing hockey. I didn't get a lot of hockey, but I got a lot of the monkey. So
Yes.
that's why I watched the movie.
Did they keep trying to shoehorn in this sibling, relationship between the deaf girl and like the hockey guy who's like inspiring the team because he's from like California and he's like actually good, and everyone's like, oh wow, he's actually good. So he's like gives the team, the Nuggets, a fighting chance. They keep like shoehorning that in, and like all you have interest in is the monkey. And when he finally does get his skates on, he like shoots this perfect slap shot through the net. Like it actually breaks through the net. And I did a little bit of research on it. That's only happened like a handful of times. And the puck has to be going 170 kilometers an hour in order to go through the net.
That monkey's
So
a killer.
His very first shot reaches 170 kilometers.
And the monkey,
is just
the
impeccable.
monkey sucks at skating. Like, I remember he puts the
Yes.
skates on. I don't remember there being like a fun montage of him getting any better, but he's just perpetually bad at skating the whole
Yes.
time.
And during
And
the
it-
tournament, the footage is just sped up of him skating.
Yeah, it's
So
awful.
it looks like he's good.
I remember that. And then I remember the ending. Like, I mean, like I remember when the monkey first plays hockey and he comes on the ice and everyone's like, wait a minute, that guy's really short. And they all think it's like a human. And then like, right, I think eventually they call him out like, that's a monkey, that's not allowed. And it's like, okay, did you think that was like a really deformed midget or what? Like how do you mistake that for a person? And then the ending of the film, like they have to get, so the research guys catch up and they somehow convince the scientists to let the monkey finish the hockey game, and then they can take him. And then like they call a timeout and they switch the monkey for the sister at the end of the film.
They're-
And then they
yeah,
take
they're like the same size.
while the game is being played, they take the monkey to the reserve for him to be happy with his family, while the sister is pretending to be the monkey because they think that's gonna work. That's gonna trick people. And it does. Like how
And she gets
like-
the game-winning goal.
she gets the game-winning goal, and you're like, man, I really wish I could have seen a monkey take that shot and win the game, but no, it was some human that I don't care about.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go
Oh
ahead.
no, I was just saying
was done.
three things almost actually. So, firstly, the editing is really weird. Like, they have this really tense game going on between the Nuggets and like the home team, and it just keeps editing towards Jack sneaking into the building, and it's like really peaceful piano, like kind of mysterious, James Bondy, and then it cuts back to this like high stakes hockey game, and it keeps cutting back to like Jack just like casually strolling it. It's just really odd. Another thing, he grabs the jersey because he gets up in his hockey attire, and the jersey is for a guy named Rip Chimsky, but Jack's arms cover the jersey bit, so it just says Chimp, and I almost cried.
Dude,
And
I
then
remember.
one last thing. Sorry, well, go ahead.
It's all
Actually,
good.
go ahead.
No, so I remember it's supposed to be like a high school hockey game or something, and there's a player on there with like a full beard, like a full beard of hair, and I was like, wait, isn't what? How many years has this guy failed? Like he's just
He's like
I was so
35 years
confused
old.
by that. Yeah, I was so confused by that.
And then the last thing, like when what do you call it? Like the sports broadcaster, whatever his name is. I don't know. I don't do sports. But anyway, they finally realize that Frank is indeed a chimp. And they're like, oh, it looks like Coach Marlowe is up to his old tricks again. When has this happened before? It's my question. Did they get actual
They
monkeys?
probably try to bring a dog on the ice and then realize
Yeah.
they can't skate. right?
It's just like a little cameo to Airbuds or something, or Ice Buds. I don't know what the hell it would be called. But
Brutal.
it just, those are the two moments that just genuinely made me laugh.
I do remember it was a solid watch. It was definitely weird as hell, but it was still pretty
Yes.
funny.
And infinitely better than Monkey Up. Have you had the
Yep.
pleasure of seeing this beautiful masterpiece, Sean?
No, I haven't. However, I don't know. Just random little thing to say. This movie, and not recently, but there was a point where YouTube initially had YouTube movies for purchasing. When they first did that, I swear this was one of those movies that was first on there. So I remember getting spammed and recommended with a bunch of videos and then just MVP, watch MVP, buy it on YouTube movies. And it's just
It's advertising done right.
yeah,
That's terrible.
it was everywhere because there wasn't a lot of movies on there either at that point. And that I think was one of them. And it was just all the time. Every single thing you
That's
watch.
probably-
YouTube movies, MVP, watch it.
That's what they grew their fan
terrible.
base on, just MVP.
Yeah.
One tiny last thing. So this was written in 2000 by Robert Vince, the same guy who did Monkey Up in 2008 or something. His wife, Ann Vince, passed away this year, and this movie, at the very end of the credits, it says in memory
Yeah.
to Ann Vince.
Yeah.
This
I
is
was
her
like-
going out. This
I
this
was
is what
like,
she will
what
be
the-
remembered by.
Oh my god, that actually sucks. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, what was I expecting? Quentin Tarantino level of filmmaking in a fucking movie called Most Valuable Primate? Like, oh, I'm so disappointed. The monkey movie about playing hockey sucked. I'm so sad. Like, I'm so disappointed that it wasn't a masterpiece. That's on. I'm never watching movies again. Like, it's not a. If you want to watch a goofy movie with a lot of monkey, then it's for you. I would say it's not great. But if you have kids, they'll probably love it. I probably would have loved this movie as a kid's. It's not an awful film. If you're expecting fucking Christopher Nolan level of filmmaking, then
it's not quite there.
You are going to be disappointed. That's all I'll say.
What a beautiful thing to stem a relationship off, though. Like Airbuds Entertainment, Robert Vince and Ann Vince, they started that. And he is still going strong 21 years later.
There is a movie that I think is their most recent called Russell Madness. It's about a Jack Russell entering into a wrestling competition.
Sure, yeah.
So they are still making movies. I thought they were kind of one and done, but they're still
as long as they're animals, there will be movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man!
All right,
we can move on. Sean, what was your next monkey pick for Monkey Monday?
So I got a Monkey Shines.
That is to do.
Which, for starters, for me personally, it's kind of hard to find a good copy of it, but eventually
stupid ass discussion post.
But I didn't know. I didn't know really what to expect with this movie because I ended up talking to my dad about what we were doing this week, and he was like, "Oh, you have movies already?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just kind of looking to see what I want to watch." He's like, "Have you heard of Monkey Shines?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure."
No, I think Sean
I loosely have, and he's like, "Yeah, you should watch that."
Sean and I were discussing,
I'm like, okay,
doing like a 2-part.
So I did, and
because there's so many.
Basically, to kind of summarize it really quickly, it's about a guy that ends up he's a runner. And he ends up getting like in a car accident. It happens like right at the start of the movie, and he ends up being a quadriplegic from that, unfortunately. And essentially, he has a friend of his that has a monkey that he's tested on,
good to go, but never.
And run tests and experiments on, and he gives it to him to basically help him with being able to get things and do things around his house. And then the monkey essentially ends up becoming like this like killer monkey he has like a connection with, and he keeps like killing people that he doesn't like. And
it's
oh my god,
this movie is insane.
Yeah, I know. Hunter, you have stuff to talk about.
Like, this is directed by George Romero, so you got the zombie master, and then you have Tom Savini doing the effects. So it's special effects master, and then like horror master essentially, and what you end up getting is this movie's like 2 hours, so it's long as hell.
Yeah,
and
I didn't expect that.
Then and you're thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like this cheesy movie, and you get this like almost kind of drama for like this kind of sad drama, and it's a movie where you kind of want to laugh, like of just how stupid the movie is, like the premise. But it's acted so well, it's just uncomfortable to the point where you're kind of like, I want to laugh at this, but it's acted like not even like you're not laughing that the acting's done so serious. It's just a weird movie because the whole time there was maybe like 1 or 2 moments where I laughed, but the rest of it, it's like it's kind of sad to watch. Like it's just sad. I don't know why.
I had the exact same experience. Like most of the film, I was into it, even though I felt like it was weird to be into it. But I like it. It was enjoyable. But there were a few moments where I just kind of like immediately I thought this movie was going to be kind of a joke, because the first thing that made me laugh was the intro right at the start with the title card, because it just like comes up with like a little bit of like text that's kind of got like little claw marks through it, and it keeps revealing more, and every time it does, the picture of the monkey just flashes up in red, and every time it does, it gets slightly closer to the camera, revealing more text.
Oh my
and
God.
it made me laugh. Like, it's just like
right
into your face.
I want to wonder. I wonder when this movie came out. It was like this definitely aired on TV at some point. That some parent saw. Oh, Monkey Shines. Oh, my kids love monkeys. Turned it on because there's moments in this film where it's weirdly a kids movie. Like there's like a solid 45 minutes of movie that could be taken as a kids movie. And I mean, if a parent happened to turn it on, their kids would be scarred. Like my absolute favorite part of this movie are some of the monologues the main actor does to some of the people. Like there's one where he calls his mother, and it's just the most hate-filled dialogue I've ever heard. There's one where he directs it at his mother, and it's kind of like, oh, this is really heartbreaking to hear. But then there's one where he directs it at the monkey, and he's like, "You're fucking filth. I hate you." Like, it's so there's so much hatred in what he's saying, and he's looking the monkey right in the eyes. Like, the monkey like pisses on his lap, and then he just utters out the most hateful thing you could imagine to the monkey. It's like, I really wonder what was going through this guy's mind as he read this as he stared into a fucking capuchin monkey's eyes. Like, oh my God, it was insane.
Yeah. I think at the end of the movie or whatever, eventually and kind of inevitably the man wins and ends up killing the monkey. That part, while the end of the movie, the climactic part, if you will, that part made me laugh out loud. Literally, I was dying of laughter from that, because he ends up biting the monkey and then swinging it around on his head back and forth for like a solid like 30 seconds, and he just keeps whipping it back and forth. And that, oh my God, it like kept going, and that just, I couldn't help but laugh at that. I mean, that it was the best way to do it, I think, still, but it was kind of funny as well.
It was brutal. It was so funny, and he's just like you think it's done, and he keeps going. Like he 100% kills that thing. It's such a weird movie. Like, I remember like the nurse that they hired to look after him, like to make his life easier because he's a quadriplegic, is just a bitch for no reason. Like, she's like, worst. I think like somebody comes in and it's like, "Hey, are you his nurse?" And she's like, "That's sadly my burden," or something like that. It's like, what the fuck are you being a nurse for? Like, like do something else. She was just a bitch for like zero reason. I remember there's another scene that was it was just weird, was they foreshadow, like the dude's like, "Oh, my dick doesn't work anymore." They foreshadow that his dick doesn't work. And then later in the film, there's like an aggressive sex scene where this woman aggressively rides his face, and it is uncomfortable
in
because
front of
the
like
whole
12
time,
monkeys.
Yeah, and you have monkeys screaming the whole time in the background. You're like, "Oh my God, who thought of this?" It's so uncomfortable.
I just imagine Romero like, "We need more monkeys."
Oh man, more monkeys.
More monkeys.
No, I definitely the part that sticks out to me though the most is is definitely like when he stares that monkey in the eyes and calls it like filth, and it's just so filled. It's just so filled with hate. It's funny. This dude didn't think for a moment that this was a joke role. He was like, "This is a serious 100%. Oscar winning," and he went, 100% to this monkey. Like, it's so funny. It's hilarious, dude.
Is it a real monkey or is it like an animatronic?
No, it's a real monkey.
Oh yeah, it's a real monkey, and when he's yelling at it, it's a real monkey too. Better. So it makes it kind of it makes it kind of funnier.
This was personal for the man.
I'd say it's worth a watch. I mean, it's long. It's weirdly long. That's the one thing I don't really like. Like
Yeah.
it could. It's like 2 hours. Like I
I'm
said.
surprised George A. Romero.
Yeah.
They definitely
It's
could have chopped
brutal.
off. They could have
Oof.
chopped off a half hour, I think.
Oh,
easily.
for sure. There's some parts that drag,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's fine. It's not an awful. There's some moments, if you're not taking the movie too seriously, there's some moments you can have a good laugh at. There's some, I mean, Tom Savini's always good. There's not a lot of effects, but there's some solid special effects in there, especially at the end. I won't spoil anything, but there's a solid moment that
Yeah.
caught me off guard.
Yep.
But it's not an awful film. It's okay. I'd say it's a solid okay
Yeah, I'd
out of
agree
all
with
the
that.
films. Yeah, probably one of the better films we've talked about today. I mean, personally, I think it's not as good as Project X. I'd say it's not better than Project X, but
Yeah.
it's a masterpiece compared to MVP. Yeah, I remember. So this. Sorry, just to go back to Monkey Shines. There's one scene that kind of stuck out to me. He's going back to university because he's kind of rekindled. This is like the middle of the movie. He's rekindled his spark to live again. Like the monkey has given him hope. Like it's making his life easier or something. So he goes back to school, and there's a scene where he's got this monkey in class, and the monkey raises his hand, and then everyone's laughing that the monkey's raising his hand. It's like, and then the teacher's angry, like she's kind of like mad that the monkey raised his hand, and then she's like, "Do you know what the answer is?" And it's like, "What the fuck do you think this guy's gonna do? You think he's gonna raise his hand?" Like I get he could speak out, but like what were you expecting him to do? He's freaking quadriplegic. He's not gonna raise his hand.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. I thought that too. I thought it weird. I'm like, why are you laughing at this guy? Like, he has this monkey here for that purpose.
That's what
But-
I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, man, there was some moments where I was like, what the fuck? Especially the nurse. But
Nurse was
that
way
part
too
too, that part in the school got me a bit. But on the other hand, I think next week we will probably be talking about our favorite comedy movies. Other than that, I think if anyone else has any other things, closing statements to say on the movies they brought.
No, I have said everything, I think.
Other than that, yeah, we'll close the podcast today. We're getting a bit of a shorter episode today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.